This is so much fun for me to have not only friends, which Bill and Beth have become over the years. I would be happy to meet with them under any circumstances, any time, anywhere, for any reason.
Make a note.
But when we get to share this particular passion that each one of us has, I've just been thinking about it. I can't say I've been losing sleep, but I have been thinking a lot about it. And I really appreciate both of them coming. On your playlist, you can see that it's divided a little bit in the middle. You have the duets, the Rose and Dona Nobis Pacem. Did anybody not get one of these? Sherry, do you have one? You got one. Okay. Bill. And that's going to be a special treat with Bill and Beth. And they'll be talking a little bit about those pieces and about their past times together. And then we'll go into the big, deep heart of Texas with a little cowboy music. Just a couple. We don't want to get too carried away. And Bill even has his train whistle, so you can know it's going to be fun.
Properly masked, of course.
And that's it. The playlist, I took the easy way out. I really couldn't figure out how to, because I play different kind of music when I'm with Bill than by myself. And I love it. He keeps a beat going, and it's just so much fun. So they are in chronological order. I did not put the years down. I apologize. I really should have given you. It starts with 1911 with Alexander's Ragtime Band. It's Irving Berlin's first real hit. And they say that he actually knew down the street where he lived there was an Alexander that had a band, but who knows? Who knows? It's just a great love song, a song that we love. And I'm not going to say much because they just go from 1911 to You Made Me Love You, I think is 1913. Darktown Strutter's Ball is 1918. Making Whoopee, and they just are a little later. The most recent are the last. Well, Hava Nagila is the finale, and that was sung by Hasidic Jews in the 1800s. So it's been a very difficult song to really date, to get an actual date, but it's our final song. Maine, Hello Dolly, and Satin Doll all are from the late 50s or in the 60s. Okay? So, Bill, do you have anything you need to say? This is your time.
Not a word.
How about you, Beth?
I'll jump in later.
All right. Okay. First one, that's why you have a playlist, is to see the first one will be Alexander's Ragtime Band. Bill and I went over all the songs before we played today, but it's never gonna be that way. They're not gonna be perfect like that.
It's downhill from here, is what you
We try to begin together, and we do try to end together. But in the middle, who knows? Okay, second one, You Made Me Love You. Darktown Stories Ball is from 1918. Back then, most of these songs didn't have words. They were written for dance, because they danced a lot. They danced a lot when they went out on dates and when they didn't have distractions of all the things that we have to occupy our minds. And so they had big dance halls, and eventually they were slowed down, some of them a little bit, and given lyrics. But this is an oldie, it's a wonderful piece, the Darktown Strutters. Oh, you might be able to tell, I think I could have lived back in this era. I love playing this kind of music. It's just so fun. Okay. don't we just play it, Bill? Macon Boogie from 1928. Well, the one thing I had wanted to say was that Eddie Cantor, this is a big name back then, this was probably his biggest hit, and he had a very lengthy career as a comedian actor, but this one piece was stood out as one of the highlight for him. So Macon.
Macon Boogie?
Yeah.
What she said.
Say they got more serious, but these songs really are all just to keep your spirits lifted. I hope that's what happens in all of this. Just lighthearted. This ain't misbehaving. The little tiny story about this. Fats Waller, he was a pianist. He wrote this piece, they say, in about 45 minutes, but he was always broke. And so he sold this piece and 18 other of his pieces for $500. And they became famous well after he sold them. I don't know what happened to Fats Waller, but that's sort of the beginning of his story with Ain't Misbehavin'. I don't know who claims it. Actually, they give him music by Thomas Fats Waller and Harry Brooks. a little dream of me. Dream a little dream of me. This goes back to, no, I don't have my sheet. But, oh, here it is, it's hiding. Here's the sheet.
It says it here, but it's an itty bitty teeny weeny tiny print that nobody can read. Maybe 1921.
This is Dream and Dream, 1930.
Close.
Actually, it was written in 1930, but it was renewed by the
Mamas and the papas.
papas in 1958.
Mama cats.
That's true. I know I sound like I repeat myself a lot by saying this piece was written in such and such a year and was rediscovered by someone 30, 40 years later when it became a hit. Okay, dream a little dream with me. And what page is this, Bill?
8.
8. There it is. Mammoth pages.
Boy, the percussion section stopped just in time. Perfect.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, Bill, that was a terrible. Goodness. Okay, now it's time for the duets. So I get to sit in this.
Right there.
Oh, I don't think.
They put your stand out here. Yeah, you're the star.
Thank you.
Before I get hit with the neck of the guitar.
Well, there's always that risk.
I know.
Farther in front.
Farther.
Yeah, you're the featured
It's always like this. Thank you though,
diva.
Ellie. You just got up from your nap. You got up from your nap.
Yeah, I did,
That's good.
without an alarm.
Oh, I'm
A
glad.
short equipment change
I don't
here.
have a working alarm.
Are you not coming out here with me?
I'm gonna be near you.
Here.
Well, wait, I've got kind of a lot of stuff here, so.
All right, be where you are. Okay.
I'm with you in spirit, if not actual presence. Well, about 20 seconds before we started, Karen said, "Hey, Bill, say a little about Beth and Bill." So I don't have a, 5-page speech prepared, I'm sure. Use this guy. Out of breath. Well, about quite a while back, Beth and I and Jack Stanley had a trio called The Beat Goes On. And they might still have the CD we did in the store, probably heavily discounted. I don't know why I'm out of breath. It's all that furniture moving. So we played for several years in here and had other engagements in town and had a lot of fun and did reasonably well. Jack's health started to fail, so Beth and I sort of took over, and we had been performing for maybe 3 or 4 years until COVID came along and kind of derailed everything. And we played here, as many of you know, and at First Fridays and at Christmas at the Inns. And so this isn't our first rodeo, as I say, especially if I catch my breath. So Beth will introduce our songs, and off we go.
Right. Well, it's really a privilege to be part of Karen's program, and we are so grateful. I am especially grateful. It's been a long time since I've had a chance. Our first song is by Amanda McBroom. Writing about its origins, she recalls another songwriter's comparison. Oh,
She's usually yelling at people to use the microphone.
Yeah, all right, let's go back a minute. And that is to say, certainly it is our privilege to be here, and I am most grateful. Our first song is by Amanda McBroom. Writing about its origins, she recalls another songwriter's comparison of love to a, quote, razor and my heart a scar. As she listened to that song, it didn't really describe her own feeling, but it inspired lyrics which quickly poured out and within 10 minutes became the words that Bill and I are going to sing for you in her song, The Rose.
Ready?
Am I in the singing mask? I am. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger and endless aching need. I say love, it is. We have a technical difficulty.
Seem to be fading in and out here.
A short,
Probably a long,
a long.
an open.
Let's go back to the beginning. That's always a good place.
It's okay? Beginning of your part.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger
a dream afraid of waking that never takes a chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who can't be too kill, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, when you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes a rose. Thank you very much. The other song that Bill and I want to sing for you is a traditional one, often sung as a round or a canon. We're not going to sing it that way. The Latin lyrics, Dona nobis pacem, mean grant us peace, and are taken from the Latin Mass. I first became acquainted with it in a MASH Christmas special. I don't know if you're MASH fans, but I certainly was and am still. I still watch the old reruns, where the staff of the Army Medical Unit sing it for their chaplain. I think it's one of the loveliest, most moving songs ever. Dona nobis pacem, grant us peace.
And to build on that, I wrote the harmony line that I'm singing from listening to watching MASH and copying theirs. It's beautiful. You couldn't improve on it. So here we go. We did.
Stop, okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill, Beth. It's good to see you back. Two of you doing what you do so well together with beautiful songs. Who is it here? Is it you, Mary, that loves the rose? And you, yes, I remember it's something about you and your dog, I don't know, but I'm sure it's a beloved song by many. Thank you for that. It doesn't seem, I could have perhaps had a better segue into Cow Cow Boogie.
I was wondering about that.
But there it is. There it is, Cow Cow Boogie, and deep in the heart of Texas. And I hope you will become it's supposed to be Deep in the Heart of Texas is an interactive song. The audience is to take part.
Oh, yeah.
Keith, would you demonstrate the la la la, the bum bum bum? Deep in the heart of Texas, you'll have your chance. Please do that, because that is part of it. But first, the well-known by everybody and loved Cow Cow Boogie. Have you ever even heard of this piece?
I'd like to do, how many have heard of Cow Cow Boogie other than our playing it?
Yeah, you have?
Okay, so one,
Okay.
two.
Well, you have such a treat in store. Goodness sakes, the Cow Cow Boogie. I was telling Ellie at lunch today that the Heifer Project, which I really believe in them, they now have a gift you can give of a mating cattle, a heifer and a bull that they give to a family, and there's no end of benefits to help that family become self-reliant. And Ellie especially knows about heifers and cows, and she's taught me a lot about it. So here, Ellie, let's dedicate this to you, Cow Cow Boogie.
You could sell them in Nor, make money.
And believe it or not, this is from a 42 movie where it's called, a movie that's called Ride 'em Cowboy. Now that's not unusual, but guess who's in it? Abbott and Costello. So I don't know how serious we are supposed to take this song.
Before may I have a low C?
Low C.
Octave lower.
Lower.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thank you. It's good to be in tune with the piano.
come in with your clapping or sing the songs out. It's not a very complicated lyrics. In the heart of Texas.
Only if you're masked.
Only if you're masked. Well, I know. Okay, there is a little verse that goes, there is a land, a western land, mighty wonderful to see. It is the land I understand, and it's there I long to be. That's the preface that I don't know how any of you maybe have ever heard that, but that's the preface to Deep in the Heart of Texas.
It's not even on my chart.
Want to do that again, or shall we do this?
Do it again.
Do that, just the chorus, Bill.
Okay. So y'all like the sophisticated stuff, that's what I'm getting good.
Oh, my.
So we're going to the big book for In the Mood.
Big book.
In our pre-meeting, we determined that the chart she has for this was quite different from the one I had. So we went to a third one that we both have. So here we go.
Well, this, I have no recollection, at this time I didn't look up history of these songs like I often do. But as I recall, this was, of course, this is in the big band era, Glenn Miller, 1939. Pre-war, it became kind of a pre-war ballad. But it also was considered by many in this country to be a little too risky. They thought that In the Mood was just a bit too suggestive for most of our young people, and they didn't play it. It was banned. But things have changed. It seems rather harmless right now, doesn't it? In the Mood.
You wish you could be in the mood. It has one other really cool feature, and that is it has a killer bass part. So
All right.
get ready.
Do you join me from the very beginning, Bill?
No, well, I throw in a couple of, just to set the mood.
He loves that.
It's not easy to make your fingers move that fast at certain phases in your life.
Yes.
Okay, Sentimental Journey
Sorry.
was 1944, really in the war, Doris Day. It became very much connected with her singing to the troops and lots to talk about. Sentimental Journey. So, oh, I love that. Do it again.
I've already masked back up.
It's worth it. It's worth all that you have to do, Bill. That's a great ending.
Well, that'll wake you up.
Don't go too far away with that whistle now. We've got
Okay.
Chattanooga Choo Choo coming up. That's 1941, and it's one of Glenn Miller's all-time hits. Chattanooga Choo Choo. Hear a lot of rustling papers
Yeah,
there.
I'm done rustling.
All right.
We'll toot really loud at the end, how's that?
She done?
It's the finer touches in life. Cat and Doll, 1953. Duke Ellington's name is associated with this, although there's others that claim to have a little part of it. Satin Doll is a great song. It's one that did start as a dance song, and they added the words later. But Bill and I, as you probably know, when we play these faster pieces, which we often do, sometimes the pretty chords get lost, like in Darktown Strutter's Ball or Satin Doll. It's typically a very fast, upbeat piece. But we slow it down, and it's a lovely, lovely song. The chords, you hear them more, it's just more obvious of what chords you're hearing. And if you can believe it, Stardust started out with this fast, fast pace. And it wasn't until someone said, let's just slow that down a little bit, see how that sounds. So here's Satin Doll. Applause. Thank you. We don't say thank you after every piece, but I hope you know we appreciate you.
Did we skip Hello Dolly or Maine?
No,
Go for
no,
it. Okay,
but we are going to have to select one or the other. So we're going to go with Maine.
Maine.
See, when you are having a program, you get to be kind of the boss. You kind of decide what they're going to play, and Bill is so accommodating. Thank you, Bill.
What a guy.
Maine follows on the footsteps of Dolly. They were two immense Broadway musicals that were hits. Both music and lyrics written by the same man, Hello Dolly and Mame, Jerry Herman. You may have seen some of these. Isabel, I bet you did, on Broadway. Well, in Mame, it was just follow Dolly, and because Dolly was such a hit, they were very concerned, how can we follow in the footsteps of this enormous musical? So they thought we ought to have a real barn burner of an opening piece for MAME, and they thought, and nothing was quite right. And then they just said, go out there, and they asked Angela Lansbury, who said, oh, I'm too old, I can't sing this part. And that was her history-making piece. She did a great job in this coming. I would love to have seen the stage. Okay, MAME.
Did they say? I'm sorry, Bill, I got all, my page didn't
Oh.
turn.
Good, because I thought
How about starting with you make? You make
you may be,
the cotton. You make the cotton easy to pick. You give my
Oh,
home in
okay.
June, okay?
you make the cotton.
Yeah. Whoa, all right. We had
To rush it a little bit, because it's perfect, 5 minutes to 5. And we wanted to have Hava Nagila be the finale. It defies you to put a date on this piece. It was sung by the Hasidic Jews in the 1800s, maybe before that. It's known by in Jewish traditions and non-Jewish. People love it, almost everybody's heard it. And what the words mean is, Hava Nagila, let us rejoice. And it says right here, composed in 1915, but no, it goes back a lot further than that. So, if you don't have a few of your little juices moved by this piece, you better go in and have some pepper on your food tonight.
all right, Bill, you ready?
I am ready.
Hava. Hava. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I thought we were gonna go even faster, but
Did you?
that was good. This is good for,
Well,
eating food soon after.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so excited about this program. Beth, thank you, honey. You did a great job, both of you. And Jill, you'll have to use your voice more for all of us to hear. Okay.
Can't hear me?
Yep, the next one. All right, have a good dinner. We'll see you in a couple weeks.